I got to know Nancy pretty early on. She was one of the people who interviewed me when I had applied for the job here. In fact, in making the decision to come here, you think about who your future colleagues will be, and Nancy was one of the people I thought, well, it would be really great to have her as a colleague. So
she's just really great to work with, and she's so strong in teaching and scholarship and service. She really lives her principles in all those areas.
At UVA, Nancy was a breath of energy and kindness and enthusiasm.
My mom grew up as the second of 5 kids in Topeka, Kansas. Her parents were very active politically in a democratic sphere, whereas she grew up surrounded by a very conservative population and state. That kind of challenged her to think about other people's perspectives. She also spent a couple of years in West Africa. That really opened up what it's like to be exposed to a completely different set of cultural norms.
If you live someplace that's that different from where you are, you come to realize all of the ways in which the way we do things here in the U.S. is contingent. In other words, it's just a happenstance. It's just the way we do them. It's not written in stone. It's not the way things have to be. Then everything you look at, you second guess. Well, do we have to raise children in nuclear families? Because in West Africa, they raise them in villages. And so you come home and you question everything. It was transformative, completely transformative.
My mom and I did a lot of traveling when I was younger, and we were in Mexico on vacation and met a stray dog. I, of course, was 10 or something at the time and begged my mom to bring it back with us so we could have a dog. And in the end, she jumped on board and found out a way on our vacation to bring a dog back from another country. And one of the things that I've always really loved about my mom is she's someone who has a deep respect for others and a love for animals, and even when I was young would engage me in conversation and really treat me with respect.
I really think that has more to do with the persuasiveness of my daughter. She's the one who should have been a lawyer. She's a very, very persuasive person, and so when she fixated on a critter and wanted to bring it home, somehow that's what we always did.
So Nancy is a very committed feminist legal scholar. And when LATCRIT started, which is sort of an offshoot of race-critical legal studies, I would say for about a span of 10 years, she was one of the very top people involved in that movement.
She's been a really great mentor for me. She'll look at, a topic or a draft of an article, and she immediately can go to the heart of the issue and help you really focus on what it is you're trying to say.
She was always wanting to have long discussions about what it was like for me from the student perspective. And trying to kind of incorporate that into her teaching and make sure that her teaching really catered to how students learn.
I've been doing this for 28 years, so you just don't want to come in with a set of laminated notes and repeat what you said last year. It's much more fun if you try to change it up and think of new ways to present things. And of course the students themselves change, so you have to keep up with them also.
Professor Ehrenreich always inspired me to continue to go into public interest law. She herself was involved in many different activities, and she would speak on panels. She spoke on a panel discussion about the death penalty. She also spoke on a panel about the Battered Women's Clemency Project.
That course resulted in 4 individuals, 3 women and a man, being granted clemency by Governor Romer at the time. It made really concrete changes in people's lives. And that's, boy, you can't beat that, and of course, practicing lawyers get to have that all the time, but for an academic who's mostly in the classroom, it's really gratifying to be able to have that kind of experience too, where you see the immediate results.
She's, to me, a true example of a critical legal scholar, willing to speak truth to power and being gutsy, but not angry. I tend a little bit towards the bitter side, and so Nancy has been an inspiration to me of how to keep moving forward in a positive way while honestly facing challenges and shortcomings and trauma that many people in society are going through.
I think it can be exhausting, but it's really rewarding at the end of the day to do your best to live your values and come out on the other side of it feeling like you did your best in terms of trying to impact the world in that respect. And I think Nancy really does that.